All right, here we go. A lot of news coming out of the Gators the last couple of days. Let's not waste any time. Let's get straight to it. If you're new to the podcast, this is On the Mark with Denmark. I am Dylan Denmark. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up. Definitely appreciate it. As our last video almost got 1,000 views, and most of you are not subscribed. And it's only, you can do it for 100% discount. There's no reason not to. Florida, now with 6 players, I believe it is, that have hit the portal since the season ended. Two biggest news the last 2 days: Diabate and Copeland. And also Brent Cox is coming back for next season, edge rusher. Diabate was a big loss. Let me take a step back. If you hit the transfer portal, that does not mean you're leaving. That more than likely means you're leaving. You're just testing the water, see if another team wants you, and you can leave if you want. Diabate will more than likely leave. He wasn't happy. If you've seen anything from his Twitter, it doesn't seem like he wants to be there. And I don't give any excuse for these guys. I mean, they've been there for a couple of years. And they want to rebuild, which Napier's want to do the first year, and they want to leave and go win. Diabate led the team in tackles, was probably Florida's most productive player defensively, and it was out of position playing linebackers. Probably should have played edge rusher, and so he'll probably play elsewhere. Same thing with Copeland. Copeland didn't get a lot of touches in most games in the first half. Was really a head scratcher why he didn't get the ball more, but still somehow led the team from the receiver position, a position that was a letdown, specifically what Florida was from a year ago. Florida coming into today had 7 commits. They were right in the 70s in recruiting. I think it was like 76, I believe. Florida just got a Louisiana Lafayette commit. He was obviously committed to under Billy Napier when he was at Louisiana. Now he's to Florida. Big kid, I think it's Christian Williams, 320 pounds. Like I think it's 6'4", I believe his height is. So that was good to see from Florida. I'm not panicking when it comes to anything with Florida. When it comes to getting guys or guys leaving in the first month, you can't worry about that when you get a first-year head coach, and I'll explain why. You can't worry about, we can't fire Dan Mullen right now because we'll lose a recruiting class. You'll get that down the road. Florida, all of Florida's guys will be coming from mid-January after the national title game until that first signing period. It will be that second signing period where you'll hopefully Florida gets a couple of guys, and I say a couple, probably 3 or 4 you hope to get, and then everybody else will be from the transfer portal. And everybody is dipping their toe into the transfer portal. It's not what it was the very first time when the transfer portal first hit a couple of years ago. College coaches want to hit the transfer portal because if you get someone from the transfer portal, you know that player does not have a free year of eligibility, or not eligibility, a free year to go somewhere else. The high school player does. If you get a kid from the transfer portal, he is more developed. He has more developed in the weight room. You have a better meal plan than he did compared to an 18-year-old coming straight from high school. The competition's a lot different. Being around practice in college is a lot different from being around practice in high school. So that is where I believe Florida is going to go. And I'm not panicking. And this is the thing that Florida has that a lot of teams don't have their first year right now. If you look at the Brian Kelly right now at LSU, Cristobal at Miami, and something that made Florida great when they had Spurrier and then when they had Meyer is a generational quarterback. Now, Anthony Richardson has to stay healthy. That's the biggest question going forward. If he can stay healthy and you can just put a little bit of talent around him, Florida can be really good really quick. Now, I don't think they will be because there's a lot of holes, and specifically up front. I mean, you can't – I said this last year. You can't expect to win games when you don't have depth at the offensive line and defensive line. What makes Alabama great is that they have had great coaching, great quarterback play, and you can go 8-9 deep at the defensive line spot. Florida can't do that right now, and that'll take time. I don't expect that from Florida for this year. If you look at Florida when they had Steve Spurrier, it started with Shane Matthews, and then Florida blew up when they had Danny Warfel. And then they became really good when they had Rex Grossman in 01. Same thing with Urban Meyer and from '06 to '09 when you had Tebow. Yes, you had great talent around you, but it was because you had Tebow that really changes everything. Look at the quarterbacks that have won national titles since 2016. These are the names: Deshaun Watson, Tua, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones. All great coaches, except for Ed Orgeron, and great quarterback play. All of those quarterbacks were first-round picks, and all of those quarterbacks made really great plays. If you look at why Georgia hasn't been winning when they get to the playoff, when they get to the SEC title and national titles, it's because they haven't been able to get the quarterback position right. Florida has that right now if Anthony Richardson can stay healthy, and who knows. Back to what I was saying about Florida with recruits, and I'm not panicking. If you look at all the other schools, and I'll give one example. Look at LSU. LSU has 7 guys to the transfer portal. They lost their starting quarterback, Max Johnson, who Max Johnson has a little brother that's one of the best tight ends in the country right now. It looks like they'll be a tag team wherever they go. And they lost Eli Ricks, one of the best defensive backs in the country, who was a first-team All-American, All-Freshman, and he was third-team All-Freshman, or excuse me, third-team All-American. LSU's not panicking because they know they have the right guy, Brian Kelly, I believe. And same thing with Florida. You can't worry about the immediate right now when you try to have a long-term plan. And Florida believes they have the right guy because Florida did not want to. They did not like Dan Mullen because it wasn't because that he wasn't a good coach. He was a good coach. He knew X's and O's. It was that he put Florida on probation for the first time in 30 years, and he was very awkward around the media. He wasn't a part of the, I would say, the community. Florida wants people that go to the basketball games, go to baseball games, part of the student body, and Dan Mullen wasn't really part of that. And coaches really didn't want to coach for him. You kind of kept a lot of your guys. You didn't make changes. You knew Todd Grantham. You knew he wasn't the guy, and you know that you weren't going to win. You weren't going to get hardware with Todd Grantham after the season he had in 2020, and you retain him. John Hevesy was okay, and it wasn't a good recruiter. And then you lose Brian Johnson to the NFL, who was one of the best coaches and could have checked Dan Mullen's ego. So that was that. And Florida believes right now that that can change right now with Napier. So we'll see. That's the latest update. Diabate and Copeland in the transfer portal. Probably more to come. I believe Emory Jones will probably hit the portal after the bowl game because he still has like 10 to 12 days. What is it? The bowl game's like the 20-something, which, by the way, is a sold-out crowd for Florida and UCF. That'll be interesting to see. UCF didn't really end the season well, but that's UCF Super Bowl, especially when it comes to fans and the games in Tampa. It'll be interesting to see if Florida is motivated to play that game. But yeah, Emory Jones will probably hit the portal, and there'll probably be a couple more guys that hit the portal. Because one thing, if you've done any research around Billy Napier and what the guys that he goes after when it comes to recruiting is, he doesn't get 4- and 5-star guys because they're 4- and 5-star guys. He wants to get guys that are good teammates, that are going to graduate, that go to school, and they do the right thing. Now, I understand Florida fans don't want to hear that because anytime Dan Mullen recruited, it was always, hey, coach, you don't have a good recruiting class, yada, yada, yada. And he would always say, yeah, that's their board, but our board was this. And yes, that's fine. You can say that in the short term, and it worked for Dan Mullen those first 3 years. But over time, if you want to compete with the LSU, the Alabama, the A&M, the Georgia, you got to have those 4- and 5-star guys, and you got to have depth, which Florida does not have right now. Florida doesn't have depth at the receiver position. Florida doesn't have depth at the linebacker position. Diabate, I think now it's 5 interior linebackers on the roster. That's slim. The secondary hasn't been good. That's going to change, obviously, with Corey Raymond coming to Florida from LSU. And I think Florida had two linemen each, and the 18 and 19 class on the D line. That's going to change a lot, and it's going to change a lot with the portal. So that's the latest update as it's December 10th on a Friday. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you probably Monday when the next big news comes out. This is On the Mark with Denmark. I'm Dylan Denmark. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's keep this thing rolling.